thank you for coming to La Crescent, Minnesota to do this interview.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You know, it's great to be here. First time I've ever been here, and great to be able to see the inside. And what a beautiful day and what a beautiful drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Priorities, if reelected, Mr. Oldenburg, in your assembly seat.
Well, the biggest thing is continuing what I have done in the past. Number one, flood control issues, farmland preservation bill that I got through, continue those kind of things as far as the ag. Also, youth apprenticeship is something I've been an advocate for in the state assembly for the last 3 terms. Continue to fund that to the point, to the level that high school students can actually take advantage of that program. I think it's been a great advantage to have these kids able to find a career path going forward. With not so much as far as student debt loans. I think those are win-wins as far as that goes. And as you mentioned, you know, notice yesterday came out, we got over a $4 billion tax excess revenue, I should say, that we have to address coming up here. And I think that's going to be needs to be our number one priority start of the next session.
So let's start with the conservation efforts. You were a co-sponsor for Senate Bill 222. It created a pre-disaster flood resilience grant program. I had the opportunity of being in Trempealeau, watching that signed into law. Had support by both sides, Brad Path, Jill Billings, yourself. I'm just wondering, if reelected, the 96th is a flood-prone area. What are some of your plans to continue these legislation efforts?
Number one, expand on that. That was a $2 million budget ask that we got in this. So every budget session or cycle, we have to ask for continue funding this program. So I'm looking forward how this program is going to be used, where there's some things that we have to adjust as going forward, but I'm very excited to see how this program actually gets done and processed through. So every budget cycle is something that's going to be true and dear to me, is actually ask for more dollars. Hey, this is what's happening, and we need to keep funding this at the levels that we need to do.
Number of schools in the area. You talked a little bit on K-12 education there, or pre-K through 12 education, I guess. They continuously go to referendum, whether it's capital, operational. There's a lack of state funding in our public schools. If reelected, your plans to help out some of the schools in the 96th?
Well, this past budget, we put a record-setting $1 billion of revenue in K through 12 education. So we have to continue to actually keep exceeding that dollar amount going forward, because it is a shortfall. No fault of their own, inflation has taken a toll on these local schools. So we have to fund them, try to get to that 2/3 level. You know, we keep trying to get there. I think we have to get there as far as to fund these schools, so they don't have to go so much referendums, but it costs so much to operate these schools, you know, through teachers, administration, upkeep of buildings, and we have a declining enrollments going on too. So we have to also take that in consideration on how we actually fund these schools. I'd love to see this, to really dive into how these schools are funded, because the more wealthier school districts, when we do per pupil category aid, they get it also. You know, not taking away nothing with, but maybe some of our poorer schools might need more. So we have to keep on addressing that.
You talked a little bit about the surplus released, $4.6 billion yesterday. Your thoughts on that if elected? That's quite a bit of money.
It is a lot of money, and it's good. Last 2 budgets process, we've always come in with excess revenue. So we've kind of increased programs as far as revenue or spending on that end. But we've been trying to give some tax cuts, tax breaks back to the people because it's their money. We need to get that money into their pockets, and especially with the economic times of what's going on right now. So I'd love to see if we come back here early, possibly do it outside the budget or within that budget, to actually get some kind of tax relief to these individuals through various means. There's a lot of ways that we can look at how do we get this money back to the taxpayers quickly. Because in economic times coming in the winter here, we got extra bills, heating bills, all other things going, and the economy kind of slows down. So we got restaurants, they're still short of people as far as help-wise and stuff. So there's a lot of various ways that we can get this money back to people, and I think that should be one of our number one priorities coming back start of January.
I know agriculture has been a big focal point of view while you've been an assembly member. I'm wondering, continuation of plans helping local farmers here in Vernon County and now La Crosse County.
You know, a lot of farming economy is wrapped up into worldly economy now, especially in the commodities. So try to keep stressing as far as farmland preservation, a bill that I got passed finally after the third time to give tax credit back to the farmers or landowners that actually do good farming practices. So that gives more dollars back there. Try to support local businesses as far as, you know, farmland processing grant program for processors. Also, the meat processors or small ones, you know, give them meat process grants back. And then on a state level, we put $5 million into exports. And we have to continue to market ourselves with state of Wisconsin to export our products outside of the state, outside of the country. So we have that revenue source coming back to the farmer.
And my final question, Representative, your thoughts on the referendum question on the ballot this upcoming election. It changes some language in the state constitution. Your thoughts on that?
As far as the U.S. citizen, is that the one?
That is it. Yep, that would be the one.
I think everyone wants to be able to vote, you know, and if you're a U.S. citizen, you should be able to vote. But if you're not a U.S. citizen, I think you have to go through the process of becoming a U.S. citizen to vote.
Anything else maybe I didn't ask that you would like to mention?
Well, the biggest thing is, you know, everyone has to get out and vote. I mean, you just can't sit back and let this election happen. No matter what side of the aisle are, you have your right. It's part of your civic duty. You want to be part of the government, you have to get out and vote. And it's very disappointing at times when you go on doors and stuff, say, well, I don't vote. You're missing out on an opportunity to actually give guidance in the direction of your state and your country.
Thanks for coming and joining us here in studio. We appreciate it.
Yep, nope, thanks for having me.